from the other live. So if you guys are watching this live and you guys want your own natal chart reading, progress natal chart reading, if you guys would like your own synastry reading, the information for all of that is going to be in the description box below. Let's give the people a few minutes to re-enter this live. I'm going to be answering astrology questions, metaphysical questions, and questions about your natal charts. So feel free to comment below. Welcome, welcome, welcome to all the people joining. I'm answering astrology questions, metaphysical questions, and questions about your natal charts. Hey, welcome. Okay, good. You guys are back in this live. Yes, you guys, feel free to comment below any questions that you guys have. Let me just see if this one is working. Okay, perfect. Yes, everything is working well. Hey, Persepolis. Yes, if I didn't answer your questions in the earlier chat, feel free to comment below in this one. Hey, Colin, you said you have lots of Scorpio in the second house, Mercury, Neptune, and South Node in the first house, Venus and Sun. What does this mean? So thank you, Henrietta. You're awesome. Colin or Colney, can you tell me if the Scorpio in the second house is the Mercury, Neptune, and South Node, and then first house is Venus and Sun? Let me know. But regardless, Scorpio in the second house, you're basically meant to master money in this lifetime, okay? And abundance is really what that is. Hey, guys. You said, okay, so you said yes. So that means you have Mercury, Neptune, and South Node in Scorpio in the second house. You actually could have mastered money in a past life. In this lifetime, it's going to be your North Node in Taurus, and it's in the A house. Honestly, you probably figured out some sort of like metaphysical truths in a past life, and you're going to be trying to apply them in the physical plane in this lifetime is really what that is. So like that's all abundance code is. So the energy is there. You just have to put in the work and the effort toward making money, okay? Is really what that is. It's like wealth placements, I guess you can say. The thing is though, Neptune in the second can spend more time dreaming about it. Oh my gosh, when I'm this rich, or when I find this money on the ground, or when I win the lottery. Like that's that Neptune in the second. So you have to actually act on these things. You know what I mean? And you can't have conflicting energy. Oh, then you said, thank you, Mike. Okay, Mike, that's basically what's going on in there, okay? So you have all these wealth placements, but you have to actually put it into action and focus on one thing, I would say, because the Neptune's going to want to do everything. Do you know what I mean? And then when you're trying to get money in all these different types of ways, like, and it's not something that you started, like it's different if you started one thing and you kind of got that thing going and it's like your income and then you start something else. That's different. But it's like if you're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this, you know, and like the Neptunian energy is blurring the area for you, like it's making you more dreamy. So pick one thing to start and focus on that thing is basically what that is, okay? And then first house Venus, so that could be money through the self as well, okay? You're going to be blessed with an attractive appearance and maybe even the way that you dress. So you can take that to your advantage as well. Also, Venus in the first house can make money through like physical types of things. So this could be like, it could be like someone who does athletics, for example. One of you guys was asking that earlier as well. So anything with the physical body could be like dance. It could be like construction. It could be like retail where you're walking around all day. You know how teachers also stand up and walk around all day. It could be something like this. Obviously in combinations with the rest of the energies in your chart, or it can be videos like this, right? Where you're in it. So that's Venus in the first house. And then Sun in the first needs to shine basically, okay? So Venus in the first gives you the undertone of having a Libra rising, and then Sun in the first gives you the undertone of having a Leo rising actually, okay? So you need to be seen and you need to be on the stage basically is what's going on there. Hey everyone, welcome you guys. Best remedy for constant fatigue as a 12th house sun. Yeah, sleep doesn't help. Nothing really helps because you're always energetically open. So me and my friends call this porous, energetically porous. It's kind of like when you're open. So you're going to have to figure out how to close your aura. And sometimes there's not really much you can do because you're just constantly transmuting energy through your vessel. Make sure you guys like the live. I think if you double tap on the screen, it's going to like the actual live itself. I think I figured that out the other day. But you can also like it in the little heart section too if you guys want. If you guys want to, of course. And that's basically what's going on with the 12th house energy, because like you're picking up on the collective unconscious always. So it's like you can't shut it off. You can just try to raise and elevate your vibration. So what do I mean by this? Exercise, going to the gym, being by water, being by nature, being, you know, doing things that you love, dance, let's say if you like to dance, like anything that makes you happy. Oh, good. You guys are liking the live. Thank you so much, you guys. It helps get the video out there. That's what you can do. Also, your diet is going to be really important, and then not doing substances. Basically, anything that opens up your auric field. So I have a video on here under my metaphysical playlist called, well, two videos that you can watch. One of them is how to ground as a 12th house person, and then the other one is how entities attach to your auric field. because people could also invade your energetic space with their thoughts as well. Okay, so keep this in mind. So it's like you're just gonna have to elevate your frequency and not feed into these things is really what that is. Hey everyone. Hey Diana, how are you guys doing? I'm just going back up. I'll get to you guys at the bottom. Thank you, Amanda. You guys are awesome. Yes, make sure you guys like the video. You guys can double tap on the screen to like the video. Scorpio in the 11th house. So you can be hidden when it comes to your friendships. For example, when you have Scorpio in the 11th house, like you can hide your friendships or like your ideas. You might hide them, for example, or like, let's say you could be someone who like wants to help people, but you're kind of doing it behind the scenes with Scorpio in the 11th house. So it's this, okay, Scorpio in the 11th. Also, what's really good about Scorpio in the 11th, let's say you want to, you know, launch a product, like a business, do something where you're working with people. Well, basically the people who are going to be interested in your work are going to have Scorpio energy to them. Okay. So you might be interested in, let's say, talking about astrology, for example, or it could be about psychology, or it could be about true crime, for example, change and transformation. And what's really cool, okay, if you guys want to take this to your advantage, I have a video on this actually on here. It's going to be under my miscellaneous playlist. Okay. I talk about basically like what kind of like people would be attracted to your work, or what kind of followers would you have, for lack of a better term. Okay, that's based on your 11th house. So if you have Scorpio in the 11th, you basically attract people who either love you or don't like you. Okay, there's no in between. And also you'll see like sometimes, you know, when you have like, let's say people in the public eye and people are arguing in the comments for that person, probably they have Scorpio in the 11th house. Okay, to the point where it's like the people who are interested in your work are willing to fight for you. Okay, because it's kind of like that loyalty energy. All right, just one second here. Perfect. I'm just going back up. Hey, how are you guys doing? What's new? I'm answering astrology questions, metaphysical questions. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. I'll get to everyone. I'm just going in order. Is Lilith significant? Yeah, it is. Lilith is going to be your shadow self, okay? If you guys are new in the chat, double tap the screen so you guys can like the video. Thank you so much. The Lilith energy, you can kind of look at it as like Pluto's little cousin. So it's like your shadow self, your dark side. So when you have Lilith in Libra and it's in the 9th, let's say your dark side could be like, or your shadow traits could be like people pleasing, for example, always putting other people ahead of you, not focusing on yourself, focusing on others. It could be codependency, fear of being alone. So you have to integrate that energy in, okay? The 9th house can just be like very hedonistic, like living for the moment, burning bridges, like all about like, oh my gosh, like something is guiding me, something higher is guiding me. And it's like you drop everybody around you to like move on to the next thing. So it's this. Oh yes, thank you. Absolutely. I saw your comment earlier. I will definitely check that out. Thank you, Sammy. You have North Node in Virgo in the 2nd house, conjunct Jupiter and Lilith. Are you destined to be without a partner? For some reason, men always try to take your power away and control you and rebel, of course. You said North Node in Virgo in the 2nd house. I'm curious to know, because it's the North Node and Jupiter and Lilith isn't really giving that information. I'm curious to know, do you happen to have your sun in the 12th house, for example? Or do you have Leo in your 12th house, for example? I'm curious to know if that's what's taking place. You can also look at the Mars to see, because the sun and the Mars are going to tell you what type of men you attract. You said, can you connect with celebrities telepathically, and how do you protect yourself from others telepathically? I don't think you can connect with celebrities telepathically because they're not really present themselves, allegedly. They usually have like a lot of energetic barriers around them. So something that I've noticed with them, for example, just my own opinion, is like, you know how they all have another name, for example? So like, you know how they kind of all have like the original name and then they give themselves like a new name. So it's kind of like when they get this new name, it's almost like all the energy like that you're directing toward them isn't actually going toward them. Like who they are as a person is going toward this new character that's been like developed. I hope that makes sense. So I don't think you can connect with them. They're kind of too energetically distant, and they also have like other people that are working for them, if that makes sense. But yes, and then to your second question, you don't have to type your question multiple times. I will get to everyone. You said how to protect yourself from others telepathically. Yeah, that's going to be really important. You're going to have to strengthen your energetic field. And you're going to have to figure out who's trying to invade your energetic space, because sometimes people are going to be invading your energetic space with their own thoughts, okay? And usually it's going to be people who are within your vicinity. I will say that much, okay? Because when it's someone who's a little bit like more distant from you or like further away, they can't really affect you. It's usually people who kind of have like some form of cord to you, like a little way in. Do you know what I mean? A little crack in the aura. So it could be people who are around you. Those people can affect you. So sometimes if you feel like people are dark around you, you just have to cut them off like completely. Just like separate yourself even physically away from them is really, really what that is. I hope that that makes sense. I'm just going back up. You said you have Scorpio okay, you have 0 degrees Scorpio stellium, 1st degree in Aries, and 24 degrees in Pisces. Can I talk a little bit about degree theory? So 0 degrees is the beginning, okay? So you basically don't get out of that energy until you master it, okay? So because you have it in Scorpio, it's like, you can also look at it as like a new journey, right? You're embarking on this energy for like the first time, right? It's like you're new here, you know, with a Scorpionic energy in this lifetime. So that's a 0 degree. You don't get out of it because it's one of those critical degrees, okay? So you don't get out of the energy until you master it. Now what's interesting is like, there's different degree theories from what I'm learning. There's the one where I did the videos on by Nikola Stojanovic, okay? So he has his degree theory where it's like degree number 1 is Aries, for example, okay? So with that whole theory, degree number 1, basically this energy is going to be like anything, it depends where you have it, right? That's going to give you the undertone of Aries energy on top of the rest of the story is really, really what that is. And then the 24th degree, I'm pretty sure is Pisces because it's 12 and then 24 for Pisces. So it depends. It depends like what is the sign in here, what's the placement, what's going on. You add these energies on top as like another layer to the story. Hey, Igor, you said, can I please tell you how to protect your aura from emotional turbulent situations? Like you might have no relationship with something bad happening to others and then you feel really affected. I'm curious to know, I saw you type something up here. I'm curious to know, yeah, there it is. It's the 12th house that you have going on. Of course, I literally was thinking 12th house. You have your Sun, South Node, Neptune, Uranus, and the 12th house. That's why you're picking up on all these things is really what that is. So earlier I was saying to somebody else, I have 2 videos that you guys can check out if you're 12th house people. I have one called How to Stay Grounded as a 12th house person. And then I have another one called How Entities Attach to Your Auric Field. So the entities attach to everyone. It's just you being a 12th house person, you're basically going to pick up on it more because you're picking up on the subtleties and the nuances of energies is really what that is. So when you're a 12th house person, it's going to be really important for you to figure out your own energy. Who are you? Okay, what are your likes, wants, needs, and desires? What are your triggers? Because at that point in time, after you know who you are, then only will you know whose stuff are you picking up on is really what that is, okay? Then you have to elevate your vibration is really, really what that is. So sometimes when I was saying to even the other person too, where I was talking about like the telepathy, it's like sometimes you just literally, I don't know if you guys heard my wall pop, but confirmation, okay? But sometimes you just literally have to remove yourself physically away from the person or the situation because it's like when someone's going through something, it's like nothing really that you do can help that person. I hope that that makes sense. So it's like if they're processing a lot of dark things and you're someone who is so energetically open and like you're merging, like that's what the 12th house is. It merges to other people and then you take on their stuff and then you're purging. It's merging and purging. I always call it merging and purging. You're purging for that person, but it's like you don't have to be doing that. I hope that that makes sense. So it's like you just sometimes have to remove yourself, whether that means living somewhere away from them, if you live with this person, or if it's a friend, kind of like just being not around them for a period of time is really, really what that is, okay? You could also pick up on it in the astral plane as well, but it's like if you're not around them, you might not pick up on it as much, if that makes sense. So definitely check out that video. I have a lot more information in there, things that you guys can do, like just tools and techniques you guys can try to apply to your everyday life to stay grounded as a 12th house person, and especially staying away from substances. Unfortunately, like when you're a 12th house person, you're already out of body. So anything that you do that shoots you out of body even more makes you more porous, okay? That's what I was saying earlier. Like me and my friends call it energetically porous. Like you're open, like you're sensitive is basically what that is energetically. So when you do something, like let's say it's a substance, any sort of substance, anything even that goes into like an addictive pattern, well, then it's like you're opening yourself up even more. So as a 12th house person, you actually have to focus on closing that auric field is basically what that is, becoming grounded, developing a strong solar plexus chakra, which is like boundaries, strong sense of self, you know, even energetic boundaries. Like sometimes personally when I meet people and I know they're going to be energy vampires, I just like automatically put up like an energetic block, like in the astral realm is really what that is, like from the get-go, because I'm like, you have energy vampire vibes, stay away, stay over there is really, really what that is, okay? So you can be around them is really what that is, but that's more so like a telepathic thing. So you can try to do that for yourself as well, but it's like sometimes people are going to try to, you know, slip through the cracks is basically what that is. Like they might see like a little sliver that they can kind of start poking through and then come into your energetic field. And then before you know it, once again, they are around you and now you're purging for this person. And it's like, why? Do you know what I mean? You're welcome. No, I totally get it. I totally get that 12 house life. I actually, it's so interesting because today popped up on my own feed. I did like a 12 house support group video back when I was like going live on TikTok. So you can find that under my lives as well. I have a 12 house playlist. So check out the 12 house playlist if you're a 12 house person, because I'm sure there's going to be information in there where you can learn more, because I could talk about it for days, basically is what that is. You said you have Sun, Mercury, Uranus, Neptune in the 12th. There you go. See, 12 house people in the house tonight. You said, is there a common childhood theme for Scorpio Sun people? Yeah, the father tends to be emotionally unavailable, I've noticed with them. Or he can be like very like intense and like aggressive as well. I've noticed with Scorpio Sun people. Is basically what that is. So it's the father or the dominant masculine role in your life, and then it's the masculines in your life, and then your own masculine energy within. And I've noticed a lot of Scorpio Suns. I think I said this in my previous live. A lot of Scorpio signs, I've seen them in martial arts, actually, is basically what that is. Because Scorpio used to be ruled by Mars. So they could have an interest in athletics, but it's usually like solo types of athletics. Because Scorpio isn't really like a team player type of energy. Like it's more so kind of like an independent solo type of energy. So any sort of like athletics where it's like you relying on yourself, competing with yourself, is basically going to help kind of exert that energy. You're welcome. Moon in Cancer, 4th house. Or hold on, you said 14th degrees, 12th house. Yeah, that is a lot of abandonment from the home, and also a lot of karma with the mother, and then feminines in your life with the 12th house. And even the 12th house moon can actually be like the past life feminines are coming through, past life enemies are coming through as feminines in this lifetime, or even like the past life enemy could actually be the mother in this lifetime, okay? Or people who are operating out of the dominant feminine energy with the moon. That's how you guys can look at the 12th house. So 12th house sun can be the past life enemy comes through as the father or masculines in your life, okay? 12th house moon is past life enemy comes through as the mother or the feminines in your life. The 12th house Mercury can be the siblings. So it's past life enemies coming through as siblings or cousins, okay, for Mercury. Then we have Venus. Venus is going to be past life enemies coming through as lovers or friends with the 12th house Venus. Then we have Mars. That's also going to be past life enemies coming through as masculines or sexual partners in this lifetime with the 12th house Mars. And then Jupiter can be just like a past life enemy coming through as like a guru, for example, or something of this sort, where it's like, you know, maybe it's like a spiritual guru that you follow, but it's actually a past life enemy, for example. And then you have the external planets, like the 12th house Saturn can maybe be like, let's say, past life enemies coming through as authority figures, for example. And then the generational planets usually might not necessarily affect you as much, is really what that is, because it's generational. But that's kind of like the idea here, okay? You said you can confirm my Scorpio sun assessment. You played tennis and ran track in college and had a very unavailable father. Yeah, I noticed that 12th house or the Scorpio suns usually have like a very emotionally unavailable father or a dominant masculine role in your life. You said moon in the 12th house and hidden enemies. Oh my gosh, I just talked about it. I didn't even see your comment. I hope you were still in the room when I was talking about that. I'm just going to go back up and see what you guys were saying up here. Moon in the 4th house, Libra, ascendant in Cancer. That's a lot of abandonment energy as well. Ascendant in Cancer, I've noticed a lot of them tend to be nurses, actually. I've noticed a lot of nurses have Cancer rising. Or it can be, let's say, like a social worker or behavioral therapist or something of this sort, okay, with the Cancer ascendant. You're kind of here to help people or just like be nurturing to people in one way, shape, or form. Moon in Libra, there could have been a lot of playing nice. Let's say the mother, for example, like maybe she wasn't like upfront, for example. Or maybe you felt like she was double-faced with the moon in Libra, and then you've internalized this energy. I've noticed Libra in the big three, so sun, moon, or rising, these people actually tend to grow up in like very chaotic homes or environments, actually. So it's like you guys tend to be like the ones that are kind of neutralizing everything for everybody all the time. So it's like this can perpetuate throughout your life, because then it can be you neutralizing things in your friendships, and then like literally, like let's say you do that for your work. Make sure you guys double tap the video if you guys like the live. It's gonna give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much, you guys. Pisces sun, Scorpio moon, and Aries rising. Scorpio moon and Aries rising. This could be another athletic type of energy as well. But the Pisces sun, that could have been an unavailable father as well, or just like an escapist for a father. And then you in turn could kind of be going into the crown chakra with the Pisces sun, not knowing which way you want to go. Kind of like here to master boundaries, basically. Pisces sun in this lifetime is basically what that is. And figure out who you are. Okay, that's solar plexus chakra. Let's see. Yeah, I can absolutely read your chart. You can send me an email if you're interested. So go on my website. It's going to be in the description box below, and then go under the readings tab, and then you guys can pick which reading do you want. Do you want a regular natal chart reading? Do you want a progressed natal chart reading? Or do you want a synastry reading? And then when you guys select the reading, an email window should pop up, and then you guys can send me an email and we'll go from there. I know there's so many 12th house people. There's always a theme in the chat, and today it is 12th house. You said you dated a Scorpio, and the very first thing he said is that he hates his dad. Yeah, Scorpio sons, there's always something going on with the father. And it's interesting because I've noticed with Scorpio sons specifically, interestingly enough to me, they tend to have kind of like an aggressive energy to them, is really what that is. Like Scorpio sun is, you really feel the Pluto. Let me just put it that way, okay? Within them, the Pluto Mars, but you really feel like the Pluto within them. So maybe, again, you know, a good outlet for these people is some form of athletics to kind of release maybe a lot of pent up energy and emotions is really what that is. Also, when you have Scorpio, it's like there's something that you don't see clearly about this person, or maybe they had an addiction of some sort. For example, like let's say it's a Scorpio sun, the father maybe has some sort of addiction, or maybe something was going on with money, or he was like hiding money, for example. The Scorpio moon is the mother. Is really what that is. Okay, so there's something you don't see clearly. It's not that you don't see clearly, it's just like there's something that's hidden, you know, about the home or the mother, and then with the son it's the father, for example. Okay, so that's kind of how the energies work. Yeah, Sag risings, absolutely. Sag risings can be athletic. Actually, a lot of athletes have Sag rising, because Sag, especially when you have it in the rising, you're going to have the defined quads. Okay, it's basically what that is, or the glutes as well. I don't do any sort of predictive types of readings. I kind of just go over your natal charts to let you guys know what your gifts are in this lifetime, your obstacles, your challenges, your upbringing, all these things. That's kind of what I do when I look at the natal chart. I don't do predictive readings because I do think that we still have like a certain level of free will, or at least I like to think that we have a certain level of free will. So Pluto in the 12th house, that's a lot. So you can kind of look at like your unconscious is basically being transferred over from a past life when you have Pluto in the 12th house, is basically what that is. It's similar to having Scorpio in the 12th. So basically you're going to have a lot of unconscious things that you have to transmute in this lifetime, okay? So it could be fears around abandonment. It could be jealousy. It could be manipulation, all the shadow Scorpio types of things, trying to get rich quick schemes, okay? It could be anything to do with like even sexual manipulation, for example, okay? Or like seduction with Pluto in the 12th house. Like all of these shadowy types of energies, you're basically transmuting in this lifetime. You can kind of look at it as like your subconscious is literally implanted. Like it's nothing, I mean, I can't say it's nothing to do with this lifetime, because it's like you incarnate, the energy is present within you, and then like things happen within your life that kind of reaffirm that, if that makes sense. But it's all about transmuting the energy. I feel like we have to transcend the natal chart, okay? Diana, you said you have Pluto in the 10th house, Scorpio opposing someone's Venus in the 4th house. What do you do to overcome / help the opposition? So you have Pluto in the 10th house, Scorpio opposing someone's Venus in the 4th house. Okay, so this is like a synastry situation. Your Pluto is opposing their Venus. That's a lot of power struggles in that situation, I will say that much. Depends what else is going in the natal chart. Maybe there's something else going on with the rest of the energies that are going to help with that opposition, but that could be a lot of power struggles. For example, you're the one who's a Pluto, so it's like, because maybe you have the awareness, you might not necessarily be engaging in a lot of these power struggles. But it's like, at the end of the day, even with synastry, like, because we're all like clairsentient to a certain degree, right? It's like, yes, it could be you, but the energy is present. So it's like the other person can pick up on this energy and still be acting out that energy. I hope that makes sense. Like, let's say they're not evolved. Maybe they're the ones that are going to try to control you, for example, with the Pluto energy. Or let's say they're going to be the ones that are trying to manipulate. Usually with like the external planets, like Pluto, for example, like the external planet, like traditionally in synastry, they say that the external planet feels it less than the internal planet, right? So it's like the internal planet, like you're kind of helping this person transform, right? Because it's their Venus. Maybe you're transforming the way, or helping them transform the way that they love, for example, or view relationships or something of this sort. But it's like, again, because it's Pluto and also like Plutonian relationships, like the energy could be exchanged between the two people. So it's hard to say who's going to feel it more. You said you think it's also interesting that many people with placements that indicate sports activities will oftentimes become ill without a place to expand that energy and outlet. Yeah, so it's like, Here's the thing, I find that, okay, so if you're gonna be, let's say you're interested in athletics, that's usually Mars and even Pluto, right? If you look at even Scorpionic energy, because it's like you have a lot of sexual energy, so it's like this energy needs an outlet, absolutely. So it's like, it depends where do you channel that energy into, okay? Is it gonna be in athletics? Is it gonna be in something else? But it's like, if you don't have an outlet for it, yes, it goes inward, and then it basically affects you, is really, really what that is, because it's like, the energy needs an outlet. Do you know what I mean? And usually, like, if it doesn't have a positive outlet, it goes into the shadow energy, is really what that is. You said moon conjunct with Rahu in Virgo. So Rahu is your north node in Virgo, moon conjunct your north node in Virgo. Well, first of all, the Virgo energy in there, you could have had a critical home and a critical upbringing. You might have to overcome that basically to activate your north node in this lifetime, which is your Rahu, basically, okay? So whatever took place in the home, any sort of fears around criticism and putting yourself out there, you might have to transmute internally to actually activate your north node. Hey you guys, how are you guys doing? I'm answering astrology questions, metaphysical questions, and questions about your natal chart, so feel free to comment below. You said you have Venus and Mercury in Scorpio conjunct Uranus in the 4th house. Venus and Mercury in Scorpio, so that's unconventional relationships, usually with Venus conjunct Uranus. Also, it's like you trying to maintain the sense of self. So it's interesting because it's like Scorpio, I actually just did a video on this today, but that probably won't be out for a little bit. I'm not going to give you guys too much information as to what I was saying in there, but stay tuned. So Scorpio energy, it's interesting because it's such a push-pull with Scorpio, because Scorpio still wants to have their own individuality and they want to have their freedom, but then they also have the possessive aspect of them when it comes to relationships. So it's literally, it's like hot cold energy that's taking place, okay? So you have Venus in Scorpio, but then you have it conjuncting Uranus, for example. So like Venus conjuncting Uranus like really wants to maintain the sense of self when it comes to their relationships, but then you have it in Scorpio, so you could also be a little bit possessive when it comes to your relationship. So usually when I see aspects like this in someone's chart, what it says to me is that the person basically has to transmute the lower vibrational Scorpionic energy or emotions, which is again jealousy, manipulation, control, possessiveness, all of the shadow Scorpio energies, okay, to access that freedom that you're seeking in relationships, is basically what that is, okay, where you're not trying to hold on to someone for dear life, is really, really what that is. And again, you know, it doesn't have to be you doing this, it could be people that are attracted to your energetic fields, okay, that are doing that towards you, okay. Yes, Diana, absolutely. If you're interested in a synastry reading, send me an email. You're welcome. Secondary progression, Sagittarius rising. You're now kind of taking, so you used to be Scorpio and now you're progressed into Sag, okay? So now you're taking the Scorpionic energy and you're actually putting it out there toward the world. So maybe you learn something in terms of astrology or occult information, and now you're like, okay, I'm going to share it with the world, okay? That's kind of like the progression there, okay? And also because it's rising, you could be interested in teaching, for example, something with like the outward expression, okay? The earlier part of your life could have been brooding, gathering information, learning things, and now you're putting it out there, okay? Because Sag energy is putting things out there. Hey Manning, how are you doing? You said Gemini sun at the first degree give you a Leo undertone. Well, depends which of the theories you're looking at. If you're looking at like the Nikola Stoyanovich degree theory, the first degree is actually, or degree number 1 is going to be Aries, okay? So that's Gemini sun at degree number 1. So it does not necessarily give you the Leo undertone. The Leo energy would be 5, like the 5th degree, and then just add 12, and then I know it's 29 after that, okay? So that's basically that. 17. So it's 5, 17, and 29 for Leo degrees. Any combination for stock market success? Yeah, I don't do any financial sort of advising, but I'm sure you can find a lot more videos online where you can learn more about that. Absolutely, you can use astrology to make money. So, but it's up to you and it's your discretion. You said, can you connect with like regular people or people from your environment? Yeah, you can. You can connect with people telepathically. Like we are telepathic is really, really what that is. But it's like, it's a matter of like, you know, first of all, why are you connecting to them telepathically? Like, what's the intention there? And second of all, it's like, or are you picking up on somebody else's like telepathy towards you is really what that is. If you're someone who's a little bit more psychic and in tune, you will feel when someone is sending you energy, okay? Because it'll be all up in your energetic field. It's kind of hard to explain. It's more so something that you're kind of experiencing on the astral level is really, really what that is, okay? But absolutely, like you can telepathically communicate with people. Like you can start testing this out with your friends. For example, be like, did you get my telepathic message, okay? You said any combination for Tantra or Black Magic being done onto you. Is there any kind, you said, is there any kind of such thing in this? So here's the thing. Yes, I don't know in terms of like your astrological chart, like what could be the combination for someone to do it towards you, but you can feel it if someone is doing it towards you. But the only way you can feel it is if you are in tune once again, okay? But it's like, the thing is, nobody can really do anything to you, okay? You just have to elevate your frequency because you have to basically be a vibrational match. So sometimes what happens, you guys, is like, and this goes to the individual earlier that was asking about like distractions and like being thrown off your path. So sometimes people are going to be sent to you in your life, and usually it's when you're on your path, right? And you're doing what you're meant to be doing. They might come into your life and they might hook into, let's say, a wound that you have within you, and they want to lower your energetic guard down, right? So like, let's say this person is an energy vampire, or they have just like a low vibrational energetic field. Maybe they have a lot of unprocessed trauma, which is usually what that is, okay? They enter your energetic space by whatever way, right? Let's say your soft spot or your wound is you feeling bad for people, or let's say your soft spot or your wound is like you have an abandonment wound, right? Or it's like, let's say your soft spot or your wound is like you love when people validate you, right? This energy vampire person can hook into that, see what the wound is, enter your life, slowly creep into your life, and then they're in your life now, and then they're going to try to bring your energetic guard down. Now, when your frequency is down, it's all frequency, okay? When your frequency is down, that's basically like your energetic guard is down, and that's when people can affect you energetically. I hope that that makes sense. So you have to learn how to maintain your own frequency high, and this is why healing is important, learning and mastering your wounds or these soft spots that I mentioned, whatever way, shape, or form you guys want to look at it, you have to master these things, because energy vampires, it's really interesting to me, or even narcissists, or whatever way, shape, or form you want to look at it. Like, these people, like, they're intuitive in their own way. Like, they're intuitive in the way where it's like they can hook into basically what one of your needs are, for example, right? Or something that you're like secretly desiring, or something of the sort, right? So if they hook into this, right, they're going to see, okay, they're going to exploit that. You'll see this with narcissists, right? This is what's interesting with empaths and narcissists, because I used to say this, because I used to teach this back in the day. Like, empaths and narcissists have a lot of things in common. It's just one of the energies is the light version, and then the other energy is a dark version. Usually, like, narcissistic people hook into people's like needs, or just like wants, or like desires, or like something that makes that person feel special, or whatever it is, right? They figure out what that is, they hook into it, right? And then they kind of continuously feed it, right, to be in your energetic vicinity while trying to lower your energetic guard down, is basically what that is. So you have to elevate your frequency, is really what it is. First, you have to learn yourself, then you have to elevate your frequency, and then you have to have the discernment when these people come your way, is basically what that is. And you'll see the higher up you go, the more these people are going to be energetically sent to you, because they're going to try to lower your frequency down. So that's the only time any of these magic things can affect you, okay, is when your frequency is down. Also, let's say you're doing substances, that lowers your energetic guard down as well, okay? Let's say you are engaging in just low vibrational behaviors, that lowers your guard down, okay? So you have to figure out, first of all, learn yourself, what are your, again, wants, needs, desires, what are your soft spots, what are your wounds, like all these things, right? So you know when someone's coming along trying to basically lower your energetic guard down. I hope that that makes sense, okay? Oh, hey, Kutsuro. Oh, I love you too. You said it is the idea of individuals being born empty of any built-in mental content, that all knowledge comes from later perceptions and sensory experiences. Oh, that's so interesting. You said, we talked about evil eye amulets last week. It was funny because you were shopping for your new evil eye bracelet the night before my broadcast, and then you accidentally broke it while talking to an old friend. Then you started having creepy dreams. Probably this friend does not have the best intentions towards you. I hate to say this. You know what's really interesting? Anytime, so the thing is, when you buy evil eye types of items, make sure it's not like your favorite item in the world, because actually, like, when you lose these items or if they break, that's actually like the energy like working, like in the sense where it's like the evil eye energy is helping you. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's say it's a bracelet, like let's say it breaks, you know, that means the energy protected you from someone's evil eye, let's say, like, intention towards you, okay? So yeah, don't get too attached to these items. Like, let's say you guys buy something. Because it's interesting, the other day when I was walking, I saw actually a pacifier on the ground with like a little evil eye attached to it. And I was like, that's so interesting, because it's like these items are made to be lost or broken or whatever it is, because that's how you know that the energy basically protected you, is basically what that is. You said, isn't it ironic that we can have enemies in this life who are actual enemies we have dealt in the past life? When does it end? Yeah, it basically ends like never, I guess. When we have discernment, I guess, is basically what that is, and we don't engage with them anymore. You said, where is quick communication indicated pertaining to my code, astrology, numerology? You said, because it's clear that I have it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I've been trying to figure out what that is. Personally, I think it could be either so I have Mercury in Libra, so maybe it's that. Then I also have my third house in Sagittarius, so maybe it's that. But also I have Mercury squaring Uranus. I think it might be that, okay, where I talk really, really fast. I think it's that one, but it could be a combination of all of these. You said it was mentioned by Carl Jung as being a great mistake, born of the collective shadow, disproving the common belief that one who is well fed and nurtured, well, an idealist or without reality. Oh, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to screenshot that and like learn more about it later and see exactly what that is. You said Scorpio rising, Leo midheaven, Sun in Leo. Yes, absolutely. You need to be on a stage, okay? You need to be seen and you need to be on a stage is basically what that is, okay? You're operating behind the scenes with the Scorpio rising, but yeah, midheaven and Leo needs to be on a stage. You need to be performing, acting, even the Sun in Leo, like maybe entrepreneurship, maybe teaching, maybe comedy, all these things, okay? That's the energy. Okay, I'm going back up to see who I may have missed up here. You said 12th house, Jupiter, Scorpio over here. You're a merger and purger with good luck on your side. Good. Merging and purging, 12th house people. Let's see, what else are you guys saying in here? You said your sun is conjunct your IC Libra, conjunct Pluto in the 4th. That's intense. Your Mars is conjunct your ascendant in Leo. You have Leo placement squaring your Scorpio Venus, Mercury and Uranus. Your moon is also in Leo, conjuncting the ascendant in the 12th house. I'd have to look at your whole chart to see what's going on there. But yeah, the Leo energy wants to be seen because it's squaring the Scorpio. Scorpio is probably going to try to get you to hide. And then you have to transmute basically all that home energy, the 4th house, to kind of access the energy where you're trying to go, which is being seen basically. I'm just going back up. Let's see, first house, Jupiter and Gemini. First house, Jupiter. That gives you the undertone of having a Sag rising or Mercury rising. Or sorry, not Mercury, or Pisces rising. Undertone of having Sag rising or Pisces rising if you look at the ancient astrology, okay? The Jupiter in the first house. Can I speak on Mercury 8th house, Pluto 2nd house, Moon 12th house, and empty Pisces 6th house? The energy and access, which might be explaining your hidden enemies. That's so interesting. I kind of indirectly answered your question. The moon and the 12th house are usually going to be the home, the family, the mother, or the dominant feminine role in your life. And then feminines in your life, okay, are usually coming through as hidden enemies, okay, in this lifetime. And then Pluto in the 2nd, you're basically here to master money in this lifetime with Pluto in the 2nd, although it's a struggle usually, because usually the upbringing is challenging for Pluto in the 2nd when it comes to money. Usually like this person incarnates into a home where they don't have the money or the abundance that they want on that soul level, okay? But this is actually like a wealth placement if you put it into action, okay? Mercury in the 8th house, you're always 10 steps ahead and maybe even mediumship abilities. You said in our society, you would think that sugar counts as a substance. Absolutely, yeah. They say sugar is actually worse than salts. Hey, Michaela, how are you doing? No, I don't have 3 anywhere. I know, yeah, I get a lot of like Gemini energy or people thinking I'm 3, but yeah, I don't have any of that anywhere actually, interestingly enough. Let's see, I'm just going back up. You said, by the way, you're beginning to research medical astrology. Oh, that's awesome. It seems really interesting. Do you have Scorpio in your 6th house? Is that what we talked about? You said when water energy meets fire energy, there will be a great destruction in the planetary significance. You're talking about meeting point of Aries and Pisces. Ooh, that's interesting. I'm going to screenshot that. I haven't heard that one, but that's very, very interesting. Why is the 29th degree so critical? That's a good question. Why? I'm not sure why, but it's one of the critical degrees. Probably because it's like the last degree, I'm guessing, because you have 0 and then you have 29. 12th house, Cancer, Mercury, 2nd house, Virgo moon, mutual rulership. What would you like to know about that? You said, let's keep talking about the 12th house. Awesome. I'm just seeing your message now. We kind of went off on the 12th house tangent earlier. I'm glad that it resonated. You said, hi, hey, how are you doing? I'm glad that you enjoy the content. What do I think about Scorpio sun in the 8th? Lots of Scorpio suns in the chat tonight. Scorpio sun in the 8th house, Pisces moon in the 12th, Pisces rising at 29 degrees. Yeah, that is intense. Also, you guys, when you have like 8th house energy, 12th house energy, 4th house energy, you're clearing karma, usually related for like the generational line or like the family line and these types of things, okay? Scorpio sun in the 8th, basically, is like a lot of secretive hidden things when it comes to the father and then masculines in your life and then your own internal masculine energy, okay? So that's another thing with the sun, you guys. So it's the father and then it's the masculines in your life or the dominant masculine role in your life and then masculine energy within, okay? Within yourself. You can always look at it this way. The moon is the mother, the feminines in your life, or again, whoever took on this role or roles, okay? And then your own feminine energy within is basically what that is, okay? Pisces moon in the 12th. A lot of moon in the 12th house people in the house tonight too. So yeah, a lot of like past life enemies coming through as feminines in your life, okay, with the moon in the 12th house, basically clearing karma with these people. I'm curious to know what your north node is and actually, or even your south node, just psychically coming through if you're still in the room, okay? Pisces rising likes to be on a screen or could be good on a screen, okay? People are always going to want to watch you. You could attract stalkers with that energy. You have your Aries moon at a Scorpio degree, so that means that you're actually more Scorpio-like. It's a combination, right? When we look at these things, you want to look at the amalgamation of all the energies together. You're an Aries moon, which is like you still want to be the best, you want to be number one, you want to be a leader. You could be interested in athletics. I know you asked that earlier, okay? And then you have a Scorpio degree. You could be hidden about these things. Maybe your emotional world is a little bit more hidden, but it's still there happening behind the scenes, okay? You said you just started GED, going to classes in person. Nice. Which placement would influence your learning? Oh yeah, it's the Mercury in the 8th house. Yeah. Mercury in the 8th house can struggle in school because they're going off into the crown, okay? Mercury in the 8th, Mercury in the 12th house. These energies go off into the crown, so you could have a hard time focusing because you're dreaming or you're daydreaming, or like Mercury in the 8th could sometimes have a lot of trauma, for example, that it's like occupying the brain space. Because sometimes people can be intelligent, for example, but they could have like a lot of trauma that took place in their life that like takes up their mental space, for example. So it's like blocking, let's say, like their learning abilities, for example. I've just something that I've noticed. You said you've been looking into medical astrology. Oh, nice. You as well. You said gotta look at your moon. You said spices are good for you, Gemini. Gotta look at your moon. Nice. A past fire. Yeah, so random, right? I thought it was interesting because it was like, I don't know, something that you wouldn't expect, you know? You said North Node in the 6th house in Sagittarius. So you're here to help heal and be of service and maybe teach something, okay, in terms of your overall life purpose. Because Sag is teaching. Sag learns, comes back, teaches, okay? It could be higher mind philosophies. It could be, let's say, politics sometimes as well with this energy as well. But yes, overall idea is you being of service. Difference between 8th house stellium and 9th house stellium. Okay, so that is a huge difference. 8th house stellium, you're operating behind the scenes, okay? 8th house energy, Scorpio energy, and check out my playlist, you guys. I have a Scorpio / 8th house playlist, okay? On here, on my YouTube channel, it's under the playlist tab. So basically, the 8th house energy is working with the undercurrents of energy, okay? So you're operating behind the scenes, okay? It's the subtleties of energy, and you're operating like in terms of like the feminine energy plane. So it's also to do with feeling, it's also to do with intuition when you have a stellium in the 8th house, okay? Stellium in the 9th is more so the higher mind, learning, going on adventures, learning this, talking to this person, learning about that, all these things, okay? So the 9th house is usually teaching something, right? It's learning and then it's teaching. That's the 9th house. You could also, like, let's say, like, go off and do academia when you have a stellium in the 9th house, for example, if you're interested in that. You go off, you do your bachelor's, your master's, your PhD, and then you're teaching this, okay? So it could be that. But stellium in the 8th house, you're operating behind the scenes, okay? It's kind of like this energy that's operating energetically behind the scenes is secretive, right? Most people wouldn't notice unless they are also 8th house people or Scorpionic types of people, okay? Then they'll notice. But otherwise, most people wouldn't because people are just like consumed with themselves overall. You said, what about the moon in the 4th house in Pisces squaring the Pluto in the 1st house in Scorpio? Yeah, that's a lot of conflict when it comes to the mother and the home. And then also feminines in your life, okay? That's square. Moon square Pluto, that's intense. You're basically like the upbringing and the home could have been turbulent, could have been intense, could have been, again, something secretive, something you didn't see clearly with the moon square Pluto. And then it adds this like other dimension to your emotional nature, right? You could be secretive. You could be a little bit more hidden in terms of your emotional world. For example, you could have a lot of depth to you because like Pisces is all about the high vibes, you know, and like love and unconditional love and all these types of things, right? But that's like moon in Pisces is like art and so on and so forth. Now adding the square in here, you could be a little bit more darker. For example, like let's say you do art, but it's like a darker form of art, for example. Like let's say it is, you know, art that explains a story of something that took place, for example, okay? Whereas Pisces could be like, you know, they draw like a rainbow and like, I don't know, like a flying unicorn or whatever, okay? That's like Pisces energy. It's just like airy fairy. They want to keep the vibes high, okay? The Pisces energy. But Scorpio is going through the depths. So that's the difference between Pisces and Scorpio, guys. Like Scorpio energy, so both energies are trying to achieve their union with God or source or the creator, whatever way, shape, or form you guys want to look at it. Pisces goes through like the spirituality route, right? Basically, they're like learning about, you know, spirituality and like the high vibes and the unconditional love and peace and love and so on and so forth. Scorpio goes through the underworld, okay? They go down and then they go up, okay? So it's intense for Scorpionic energy. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. Send the vibes out there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You said, can you explain Sun and Lilith in Aquarius? Are they conjuncting? I'm curious to know. You said when it comes to talent / abilities and life purpose, what do you look for clarity? I look at the overall natal chart. It's hard to say because usually I look at, let's say there's a stellium taking place in your chart, for example, or let's say there's just like something that stands out. I can't explain any other way. Usually when I look at a chart, I can see what's going on, and I can also see kind of like what's holding you back at the same time. Okay, you said it's conjunct Sun and Lilith, so there could be shadow traits here connected to the father because it's Aquarius. The father maybe was aloof or kind of like in his own world, doing his own thing, maybe very detached with the Sun in Aquarius. Now you yourself could be detached as well. Lilith is your dark side. So Lilith in Aquarius is usually a rebel, basically is what that is, okay? It could be someone who's super, super rebellious. It could be someone who is like super against, you know, the grain and like doing their own thing. That's Lilith in Aquarius. But it's like Lilith can be your shadow side, right? So sometimes Aquarius rebels just to rebel. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes someone's going to be like, the sky is blue, and then Aquarius is going to be like, no, it's green, you know, just to rebel kind of thing. So it's like you have to catch yourself when you have Lilith in Aquarius and be like, okay, am I rebelling with a cause or without a cause? Do you know what I mean? Yes, absolutely, you should get a reading. All of you guys should get readings, okay? Make sure you guys check out my website, okay? On my website, it's going to be under the readings tab. I have a regular natal chart reading. I have a progressed natal chart reading, and then I also have a synastry reading, okay? So I can go in depth in your natal charts, and then if you guys have any specific thing you want me to focus on, absolutely, you can send me an email and let me know what you guys want me to focus on. Kuturo, you asked, what do I think happens in the last moments of life? From what I know, the brain starts to release the DMT is basically what that is, okay? So that's why sometimes you have people out here doing psychedelics like the DMT, for example, because they're trying to mimic death, basically, is what they're trying to do. And from the research and just from what people have explained, for example, online and so on and so forth. So like as you're crossing out, you're starting to basically release DMT, right? So you could be hallucinating, and you'll see, like, let's say in videos sometimes, I don't know if you guys have ever seen those videos, but sometimes people, when they're crossing out, they're like laughing, or they're like seeing things in the room and so on and so forth. So if we look at like last moments in that sense, it's this. But then you have like the other things that people say where it's like they say your life flashes before your eyes and so on and so forth. So I can't confirm any of that, just things that I have either read or learned about, okay? So it could be this, but mainly like what I do know is that your brain starts to release DMT. So you can read about that if you want to learn more, okay? What's happening when your brain is releasing DMT as you're crossing out. Do I have a house stellium? Yes, I have. Do I have a house stellium? Actually, yes, I do have a third house stellium, I believe. And I also have a first house stellium. And then I have 2 placements in the 12th house. So that's me, okay? My energy is basically third house, 12th house, first house. Scorpio stellium in the 7th house, absolutely. So you're looking for relationships, and you're probably looking for the one. But you also said 7th house Libra. You said Scorpio stellium in 7th house Libra. So I'm curious, is it Scorpio stellium, or are you saying 7th house? You're welcome. But yes, okay, if you have a Scorpio stellium, so let's say it is Scorpio stellium in the 7th house. I'm not sure if you're still in the room because I'm not sure why you said Libra, but anyways. So Scorpio stellium and in the 7th house, yeah, you're looking probably for the one, okay? That's kind of like the struggle. When you have the 7th house stellium, you're mastering relationships. Oh, okay, so your 7th house stellium is in Libra. Okay, so hold on. You have a Scorpio stellium, and then you have a 7th house stellium in Libra. Is that what's going on? 7th house stellium, it's a little bit of a struggle because it's like in this lifetime, you're really kind of here to master relationships and learn about yourself through other people is basically what that is, okay? Scorpio stellium is like the depths of life, just kind of going through the underworld and learning all about basically the dark aspects of life when you have a Scorpio stellium. Let's see, what else are you guys saying in here? If you have 12th house empty, so you could have mastered that already in a past life, but everyone's going to have a sign occupying their house, okay? And if you don't, it could be intercepted. So you do have it in Aries. So it's like you can kind of look at the 12th house in Aries as like your shadow self is really what that is, the shadow aspects of the self with the 12th house in Aries. So for example, let's say the shadow aspects could be like you could just like think about yourself all the time, or be selfish, or kind of like not consider other people. That could kind of be like a way that the 12th house shadow aspects could play out, okay? Thank you so much for the donation, you guys. You guys are awesome. You said you have your North Node in the 12th house in Aries. Interesting. I was just talking about 12th house Aries. And your Sun is in Taurus. Your Sun conjuncts the North Node. You would love to know how this affects you. Okay, so your Sun conjuncts the North Node. So masculines, okay, or the father could be helping you in this lifetime towards your life purpose, okay? Your North Node is in Aries in the 12th house, and then you have Sun and Taurus. Can you tell me what house do you have the Sun and Taurus in? I'm just curious to know. Yes, I have a playlist on asteroids. So far I've done Juno and I've done Pallas. But it's so interesting. I was just looking at something the other day and I was like, there are so many asteroids, you guys. Oh, it's in the first house. Okay, so you're here to shine because you have Sun in the first house, here to be on a stage, Sun in Taurus. You know, there could have been a focus on money, and your belief systems around money are connected to the father, okay? The Sun in Taurus. So it's like whether you have the money or you don't have the money, you could have still not had what you wanted on that soul level is basically what that is. So the karma, you can look at it as like the karma in this lifetime is for you to achieve that wealth that you are seeking, okay? It's basically what that is. The wealth, the luxurious experiences, that's Sun in Taurus, okay? Enjoying life, mastering money, and these types of things, okay? North Node is in Aries in the 12th house, so your South Node would be in Libra, and it would be in the 6th house. So your past life could have been a lot of compromising for other people, for example. In this lifetime, it's about the self, okay? And the 12th house is a spiritual lifetime, is basically what that is, the North Node and the 12th house, okay? So the Sun conjuncting the North Node, masculines in your life and the father are helping you, okay? Whether it's directly or indirectly in terms of your life purpose. So for example, because it's a plane of duality, either you have like a negative experience and it helps you because you're like, okay, my experience was negative, so I'm going to do the opposite of that, right? So it's still pushing you toward the life experience, okay, or the life purpose. Or it was positive and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so inspired by this, and it's still pushing you toward the life purpose. I hope that that makes sense, okay? Main lesson for Saturn and Taurus in the 2nd house, money, okay? Mastering money is basically what that is. You said all you think about is money? Absolutely, you guys. If you want your own reading, definitely send me an email, okay? And then I'll let you guys know what the turnaround time is. It varies depending how busy I am, okay, and what else is going on. So Santa, you said help, okay? You said Libra ascendant, Cancer sun, Leo moon, Venus in the 8th house, Sun and moon, and Mars in the 10th. You have to change careers so many times. Your relationships are sucky. What's going on with your money situation? Yeah, you're basically meant to master money. What I'll tell you about the 10th house, okay? 10th house energy usually reaps the rewards in the 2nd half of life. So if you can pick one thing that you want to do and focus on just the one thing, the 10th house is going to help you, okay? If you're scattered, it's not going to help you, okay? Because the 10th house is usually rewarding you when you're putting your energy towards something, right? And you're putting in the hard work and the effort. That's how the 10th house works. So it's like if you start something today and then you drop it and you do something tomorrow, it's not going to work, right? Because the energy is not in your favor, basically, okay? Venus in the 8th is other people's money. So you could be also gifted in investments or learning about investments or investors. Like let's say you start a project, an investor could help you, okay, with Venus in the 8th house. You could also attract money to you easily with Venus in the 8th house as well. And you're probably going to have to get over the people-pleasing thing, okay? Having a Libra rising, because that's the struggle with Libra energy, okay? Libra can very much be about making everybody else happy, will do what you want to do, and so on and so forth, and then you're not focusing on yourself, okay? So Libra rising attracts Aries descendant, which is the 7th house, okay? People, and they usually tend to be selfish because they're forcing you to focus on yourself is what that is. And Cancer sun tends to be an abandoned energy, so you might be looking for family and these types of things. So the Libra rising and the Cancer sun could be distracting you energetically from where you're trying to go, okay? So after you transmute that energy within, okay, with the Cancer sun, the abandonment wound, wanting to have a family around you all the time, or creating friends that feel like family and like not wanting to let them go and like staying, you know, in one place and these types of things. After you release that, then you'll kind of start to access that 10th house is kind of what I'm picking up on. You're welcome. Oh, yay. I'm glad that that resonated. Oh, that's so great. Congratulations. You said, hold on, let me just go back up. You do use your experience to learn from and alchemize from then. You're welcome. And then you said you do try to educate yourself first. But then I said something completely different and then it helps you so much. Oh, good. I'm glad that it helps you. And then you said as in completely different. You mean completely different from the information, the videos you tried to watch about it. Yeah, I try to keep it real with you guys. And I try to always let you guys know what could be like the shadow energies. Because the thing is, you guys, it's the shadows that hold people back, okay? So you guys want to focus on the shadow work is basically what that is. These days, anytime, even if I meet someone, I'm always looking to see what's going on with the Pluto, what's going on, if, you know, with the Scorpio energy in their chart, like what are their shadows, you know, even the 12th house, if I have, let's say like the rising sign, let's say it's someone I just met, I'm always looking at that to see what's going on with these energies, because the shadows are usually what hold you back in this lifetime, okay? Whatever is going on with the shadow self, the shadow energies, the, you know, all these types of things. You guys can look at it as like the denied self or abandoned self or whatever it is, right? You want to integrate, right? For you to become whole is really, really what that is. Okay, guys, if you guys want your own reading or natal chart reading, it's going to be in the description box below. Or if you guys want your progressed natal chart reading, or if you guys want your synastry readings, okay? Send me an email and we'll go from there. I'm going to sign off now. If I didn't get to your questions, I'll get to it next time. So keep the question in mind for next time. Thank you for your likes, shares, subscribes, and the questions as well. Thank you guys for being here. And I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day or evening.